Okay, now we're ready to build our shopping cart page. Again, we're going to do this in a step-by-step fashion. So in the first step, I just want to build a very simple page where we display all the items in the shopping cart. So we're not going to worry about updating or deleting any of these items yet. So let's go to shopping cart component. First, I'm going to inject our shopping cart service here. So private shopping cart service. Shopping cart service. Now I'm going to define an observable and initialize it in ng on init. So this .shopping cart service .get cart, this returns a promise, so we await the result and then set the actual observable. And of course we need to make this async as well. So this is all we have to write our shopping cart component. Now let's go to our template. So shopping cart.html. I'm going to delete all this markup, add a heading, shopping cart. Below that, I'm going to add a paragraph and add a message like you have n items in your shopping cart. Now here we need to unwrap our observable. So I'm going to add an ng container here. Put the paragraph inside the ng container, because inside this ng container, we're going to have other elements that need access to the shopping cart object. So on ng container, I'm going to apply the ngIf directive. And here I'm going to unwrap our observable. So cart observable, we unwrap it and then store the result in cart. And then we can render cart the total items count. See, this is the benefit of encapsulating all that logic inside this property. Now we're reusing this property in a completely different component. Now let's test the application up to this point. So back in the browser, I'm going to click the shopping cart link. Here we are. You have 3 items in your shopping cart. Beautiful. Next, let's add a table below this message. So I'm going to add a table with a class table. Inside this table, we're going to have a t-head. And inside the t-head, we're going to have a tr and 3 th elements. So the first column is product. The second is quantity. And we leave the third one for now. Later, we're going to display the price here. Similarly, we're going to have a body with tr and 3 td elements. Now here we want to apply the ng-for directive. Here we need to iterate over all the items on our shopping cart. Now here we have the same problem we had in the last lecture. So our shopping cart items is not an array, it's an object. So let's go to our shopping cart class. I realized that there is a mistake here, so I defined these items as an array. But as I told you in Firebase, this is stored as an object. We're going to come back and fix this later. So for now, all I want is a way to iterate over the shopping cart items. So I'm going to define a property that would give me the ID of all the products in this shopping cart. So let's call this product IDs. Now here we need to get all the properties in this items object and return them as an array. So back in our database, look, items is an object. And now we need to get all these keys, all these properties, and return them as an array. In JavaScript, we can call object.keys. We give it an object, in this case, that items, and this will return all the properties or all the keys in this object as an array. So then we can return this. Now in our template, we can iterate over the array that is returned here. So back in our ng-for, let product ID of cart.product IDs Now to render the title of a product, we can write an expression like this. Cart.items, and then we'll access the property with this name. Here we have a shopping cart item, and then we can access the product property, and from here we get a title. Similarly, I'm going to add another expression here, cart.items of product ID dot quantity. Now let's test the application. So here are all the items in my shopping cart. Now I notice a problem in this implementation. Look, we have a couple of items with quantity set to 0. So we need to change the logic for removing an item from our shopping cart such that when the quantity becomes 0, we should physically remove that product from the shopping cart. So this is a bug that we currently have. We'll come back to this later. So in this lecture, we built a simple shopping cart page. In the next lecture, we're going to add a new column here to display the unit price as well as the total price for each item.